Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Chia here, back with another part of What If Naruto Was in a Political Marriage. And before continuing this, I would like to tell you guys that I will also be uploading from tomorrow onwards the What If Naruto the Namikaze Legend constantly along with this series. So be prepared for double uploads, maybe. And if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And that's pretty much it, and without further ado, let's continue our story. Last time we left off when Naruto arrived in Suna, and we left off the last part in a link break, so I'm going to continue from there. If you haven't, please check out the previous part for you to better understand from where this part is going to continue from. And let's continue. I'm assuming that you heard the news. You're damn right I have. Why haven't they contacted me yet? And why did it take so long for the information to get here? You know why. Information still takes quite a while to travel around. Are you sure that he's okay? From what Raido said, he was in perfect health. Chakra exhaustion is something that is not shown on the exterior. If he is not checked out soon, there could be debilitating consequences down the road. He said Naruto was running around in a perfect health. In fact, if what Raido said was true, then Naruto was more concerned with me than anything else. You sure that I can help? Raido said and did make it perfectly clear that you'd be more than willing and capable of healing her, but they turned it down. Arrogant fools. Snotty. What, Jiraiya? What? You know that they're being unreasonable. What if she dies? That would turn the whole treaty into rubble. You know as well as I do that just get married off to some other Kekigenkai holder, maybe one that is his age this time, but still, she's an incredible, useful war asset that is capable of matching the Mizukage in open-armed combat. Are you sure that I can't just show up and heal her quick? From the extent of her reported injuries, not even you would be able to heal her quick. And maybe you could just teleport there unannounced and heal her up, make everyone happy and nice with each other, or maybe you teleport there and everyone sees it as a major insult and the treaty is over for good. No matter what, if we just wait to see what happens, the treaty will stay in place. Tsunade sighed and leaned back to rub her temples. I don't like this, Jiraiya. If you did, then I'd have you checked in for an appointment with Inoichi. Is there any other news? The Jinchuriki of the Five-Tail hasn't reported back to Iwa for a while. We think that he might be taken by Akatsuki. Is Iwa taking the threat of Akatsuki seriously now? Not that I know of. Why do people have to be so unreasonable? They're the one who done the most business with Akatsuki in the past. I guess that they don't want to provoke them or lose their standing. For Christ's sake, Oniki's granddaughter was almost murdered by one of their members. Akatsuki's playing the ignorance card. What about the rest of the nations? Kumo is tightening control on theirs. Suna Jinchuriki doesn't really leave their village as it is. Iwa isn't even in contact with their other Jinchuriki, and Kiri's Jinchuriki is either the Kage or missing. What about Taki? Well, from what I can tell, their Jinchuriki has been outside the safety of their walls for quite some time now. But they don't plan on calling her back in. And why not? They're afraid of Akatsuki coming over and wreck their village. That doesn't make any sense. That won't do at all. She needs protection. See if we can take her in. We could do that, Jiraiya said in a way that meant that he had something else in his mind. Or we could just send her to Suna to be Naruto's traveling companion. She's still learning how to control her Jinchuriki, correct? Yes. Then it'll probably be beneficial for both of them to be able to compare notes as they travel together, since Taki probably wants her protection as well. It shouldn't be seen as an insult like what might happen if I head to the rebel camp, right? If my understanding of human psychology is correct, then yes. That doesn't exactly instill confidence in me, Tsunade said with a deadpan. Link break. What does this mean? Naruto asked. There were two pieces of paper in Naruto's hand that used to be one, until he channeled chakra into them that split it directly down in the middle. Well, I'll be damned. You have a wind affinity, the Jonin said. That means you won't need me. What? Look kid, the only reason why I called here is because I have a good understanding of the first stages of elemental manipulations in all 5 elements. Since you have wind affinity, you could ask nearly any Jonin here, and they'd give you far better comprehension of your element. Do you have any teachers that you can suggest to me? Why not your wife? Despite her age, she is one of our most accomplished wind manipulation specialists. Okay, I'll do that. Thanks for the help, I guess. No problem. The sand Jonin said while performing a sand body flicker. Meanwhile, another sand Jonin was looking Naruto over from head to toe, obviously not very impressed by what she saw. So you're the clone. The clone nodded. Yup, anything I learned is transferred to the original when I'm dispelled. Can a Genjutsu dispel you? The clone shrugged. She sighed in annoyance. Might as well get started then. My name is Nazono Sakaku. I am the most accomplished Genjutsu user and master in all Suna, and I am here to teach you about the arts of illusion, or at least how to not get killed when confronted by them. Right. Do you know the basics of how to dispel Genjutsus? He shook his head. How to detect Genjutsu? He shook his head again. What's a Genjutsu? He shook his head once more. Do you know what a Genjutsu is even? Yeah, I'm not that even stupid. Enlighten me then, she replied sarcastically. Well, Genjutsu are when you distort reality. Wrong. Nobody can distort reality, kid. The reason that this is called the art of illusion is because we change the personal reality of people, making them think what's happening or vice versa. So you can change people how people think. Nope, we can only change how people perceive things to be true. So if I use Genjutsu, I can make people think that they're being chased by a big blue jelly bean. She leveled a hard stare at him. Yes, but if anybody worth it as a shinobi saw that happening, they would dispel your shitty illusion immediately. Why? Didn't you say that Genjutsu makes people perceive different things to be true? And if they saw a big blue jelly bean coming after them and thought that it was true, then they run just away? Nazo pinched the bridge of her nose in irritation. Perhaps I didn't phrase that correctly. It tricks what people sense to be true, but people can perceive it to be false. Naruto scratched the back of his head in confusion. I don't understand. For example, she went through a short set of handshakes and shouted, "Ethereal body." Naruto stared back in fear. Somehow another head that was identical to hers grew out of her first one. What the hell? Both heads sighed into their palms. You don't think that this is real, do you? Both heads asked in sync. It looks real, Naruto with wide eyes in fear said. Exactly, it looks real, but do you really believe that there are 2 heads growing out of my body? I'm going to say no, but only because I think that's what you're getting at. She dispelled the illusion, much to the relief of Naruto. When you are going through your day and you notice something that doesn't make any sense, you are supposed to try and dispel it. That is a detection and dispelling of Genjutsu. I guess that makes a lot of sense now. But what if there really is a big blue jelly bean chasing me around? It probably not makes a lot of sense to stop what I'm doing to try and dispel it. But a big blue jelly bean chasing you around wouldn't happen. Okay, what about seeing a giant slug, a giant snake, and a giant dog all try to kill each other? What about seeing a guy regenerate a hole in his chest? What about seeing a guy turning into sand ton? Things that doesn't make sense and aren't supposed to happen, happened. I take it you haven't fought very many Genjutsu users, have you? Not really. The best Genjutsu are subtle, things that the person affected can expect to happen. Like tripping on a root in a forest. If they feel something impact their foot, they stumble even if they didn't hit anything. Not only that, but only the most skilled of Genjutsu users would try to make something as impractical as giant summons fighting each other seem real. There are too many things that might seem fake about it, like if a toad was tossed into a copse of trees and the Genjutsu user didn't make you see the copse flattened. So if Genjutsu detection is all about seeing things that don't make any sense and countering it, why do you do if you see something that does make sense, like stumbling on a tree root? You hope that your teammates are there to help you. Is that it? Nothing else? Well, the way that Genjutsu works is by subtly changing the opponent's chakra flow. So if you are or have skill sensor on your team, you can become aware that your chakra system is being affected and you can do something about it. Sounds a lot of complicated. Other than Funjutsu, Genjutsu is the most complicated of ninja arts. I don't like complicated things. Then that sucks to be you, kid. Because sometime down the road, you're either going to be saved from it or die from it. So might as well get used to it so the latter doesn't happen. I got it. So if I'm supposed to be looking for things that don't make sense in order to detect Genjutsu, what am I supposed to do? Dispel it? Gather a large amount of chakra, channel it through your system, then release it in one go. Sounds simple enough. What gets most people in is that they might not be as fast enough to dispel it, or they might not detect it at all. That's all that Genjutsu is really. Just delaying the enemies long enough to the point where you can safely walk over to slit their throats open. So how do I know when I'm good at dispelling or detecting Genjutsu? She grinned sadistically at him. A lot of practice. Link break. So, you understand what you're supposed to do? Temari asked in a slight concern. Yeah, I got this. Naruto said, shaking his limbs to and fro to try and get psyched out a bit of the training exercise that he was going to go through. You sure? Because it's really important to keep calm-headed. Don't worry, I'll do great. If you say so, Temari said ominously. She immediately unsheathed her war fan and unfolded it to the first star. After finessing the correct amount of chakra into the handle of it, she swung it forward to unleash a blast of wind soaring over to Naruto's direction. Naruto instinctively knelt down to minimize the amount of wind that would hit him, and thrust his palm forward to keened his chakra as quickly as he could. Just as a slight shimmer of chakra emerged from his hands and formed into a vertical line. The blast of hot air hit him directly and shoved him 6 feet away regardless of the line of chakra that he made. Are you okay? Temari asked from afar. Naruto begrudgingly caught up and spit the sand out of his mouth. Being outside and in the desert helped cushion his fall, but that heat was killing him. Are you sure that there isn't an easier way to learn wind manipulation? He said, drawing back to his recent position. Oh, there are loads of easier ways to learn wind manipulation, but you said that you wanted to the fastest way. Mari drawled off with a smirk on her face. Perhaps she couldn't be enjoying this, but seeing Naruto get sent flying into a dune never got old. Yeah, whatever. All of his physique had vanished the moment he hit the dune behind him. He looked on the bright side. Hey, look on the bright side. 2 hours ago you got hit 7 feet back. Now you're down to the 6th-ish, I guess. How can you tell the difference between such small increments in measurements? I just can't. Now get ready again. Temari couldn't hold her amusement in. It manifested in a full-blown smile. Oh, I knew it. You are so enjoying this. Anything that Naruto might have been able to get out was dashed as soon as another blast of wind hit him directly in the torso and sent him flying with farther than he would have if he was kneeling. Temari winced a bit at the crater that formed from Naruto's impact. Ouch, that's gonna leave a mark. You damn right it's going to be. Naruto shouted out from his position in the crater. You heard me? Temari asked nonchalantly. Naruto grumbled out in response incomprehensibly as he climbed up from the indentation in the sand that he was in. Climbing up sand is hard, as he would soon find out. Several hours later, Naruto got himself back up from yet another small indentation in the sand. Hey, I think that we should stop now, Temari said with slight concern. The kid just did not give up when it came to training. What? No, I got to keep on going, Naruto said breathlessly. If you keep on going, the only thing that you're going to accomplish is that by sunstroke. Now come on. But, so help me God, I will club you across the head with my fan and carry you back inside the gates if I have to, she said, hefting her fan once more. Naruto deflated. Okay. His stomach growled out in wanton lust of another edible at that moment. What's for dinner? Naruto asked pitifully. Whatever Kankuro makes. Now come on. Tamari started to walk off in the direction of her home village with Naruto in tow behind her. Link break. Are you freaking stupid or something? Kankuro asked gruffly. When Naruto and Tamari had made it home, it was discovered that Naruto had severe sunburns all across his face, arms, legs, and mostly his torso. Naruto hissed in pain as more lotion was rubbed on his body by his loving and not so gentle wife Tamari. Hey! I never had to put on sunscreen back home. I didn't even know that was a thing. You'd never heard of sunscreen? Tamari asked in wonder, really rubbing the lotion in his back. Had to make sure that it penetrated deep after all. Ugh, that hurts so much. Why didn't you say anything when we were training? I didn't notice. The sun was too bright. Ah ha ha. You really get off on seeing me in pain, don't you? I wouldn't go so far as to say that I derive sexual pleasure from your suffering. Tamari paused to add some more lotion onto his arm, making him hiss in pain. But I would be lying if I said that it wasn't really funny. You're so funny! Just the most fun in the whole world, right? Naruto replied sarcastically. Kankuro snickered a bit at his remark. You know, if you didn't make it so amusing to see you in pain, she'd probably stop it. So it's my fault that she's hurting me? I have half a mind to report you for domestic abuse. You have half a mind? That's more than I expected out of you, Tamari remarked. If it weren't for the fact that Tamari wasn't behind Naruto, he wouldn't have glared enough holes into her to make her into a Swiss cheese. Oh come on, you set me up for that. It wouldn't be a loss if I didn't capitalize off of it, Tamari said with a smile. She's right, you know, Kankuro said. I'm tired for this. Naruto got up and took the lotion away from Tamari's hand and started to apply the rest himself. So what now? Naruto asked in between minces. I don't know, nor do I care. You can't go outside with sunburns, not until it peels. So you're staying inside. What am I supposed to do? Why should I care? Read a book, take a nap, learn how to balance a kunai on your face. I don't care. With that, Kankuro retreated to his room to tinker with his puppet some more. Once the sound of a door closing hit Naruto's ear, he turned to Tamari and said, Your brother is pretty impersonal. That's kind of his modus operandus. It denotes how he is and how he does things. Oh, so do you have any idea about how to spend that time? It's 7:30. At this point I would usually get ready for bed and read a book. Sounds good, I guess. Where am I sleeping? You're bunking in with me. And you're fine with that? So long as you keep to your side of the bed, we should coexist just fine. Fair enough. With the lotion covering Naruto's burn, moving was slightly less difficult. So he was capable of heading to the bedroom to get changed into his pajamas. When he got out of it, he was met by Tamari, who was wearing a black on his seat. Yo, follow me, she said flatly. Naruto nodded and fell in step behind her. Her room was plain, for lack of a better word. The walls were made of sanded down sandstones, as was custom here, he found out. Her bed was queen-sized, large enough that two people could sleep comfortably on it without touching. There was a nightstand, a dresser, and a small closet. Other than that, it was bare of anything that Naruto would usually associate with a girl's bed or room. No mirror, that makeup laying around, no discarded clothes around the room, nothing. Tamari took notice of Naruto's expression and guessed correctly what he was thinking. What were you expecting when he was around here? My dad wasn't really a fan of extraneous material goods. Extraneous? It means extra. Well, why don't you just say extra? Because extraneous also means not needed. Tamari walked over to her bed and flopped on the left side of it. I still don't see why you have to say it like that, Naruto said while walking over to get himself covered in the sheets of the right-handed side of the bed. It gets the point across better. If someone has to wonder what you said, that it didn't get the point out good at all. Well what? Then it didn't get the point out well at all. You just really need to work on your eloquence. Naruto gave her a hard stare. Now you're just saying things to make me feel bad about my intelligence. What do you mean by that? You keep on using big words to confuse me. I haven't used very many big words at all. What about eloquence? What does that mean? Eloquence isn't that large of a word. It's bigger than a lot of words out there. Oh please Naruto, you don't have to be such a quidnunc about everything. At this point Tamari was on the verge of losing it. You made that word up, Naruto said, enunciating each word individually for emphatic effect. You have quite the pernicious attitude, Tamari barely got out without laughing. Naruto picked up the book that he got from Fu and busied himself with reading it. Tamari took this as a sign of him not wanting to converse anymore, so she brought out a book of her own and started reading it. About 30 minutes passed this way, but Tamari soon found it difficult to concentrate on the words that she read. Her eyes looked at the words, but they did not register in her head. Once she realized that she read the same paragraph nearly 5 times in a row, Tamari put the book down and looked at Naruto, who was reading intently. Why are you staring at me? Naruto said without looking away from the book. I'm not staring. I just happened to look your way. Man, I'm so much stuttering and my tongue is slipping so much today. Oh well, sorry about that. Naruto dog-eared the page on his book and closed it. I guess that I won't be reading anymore. Oh, why? Because I just know that you are going to bug me and I'm not going to be able to read. Suit yourself, I was just looking over to see if you were tired enough to go to sleep. At the mention of sleep, Naruto's body instinctively yawned. Well, I guess that answers my question, Tamari said with a smirk. She turned to her side to click off the light that was on her nightstand, bathing her side of the room on darkness. Naruto did the same with his and started to get comfortable in the bed. It was his first day in Suna and he had been picked on, made fun of, gotten a horrible sunburn and was repeatedly knocked down during his training with Genjutsu. Most of the problems stemmed from Tamari, but he didn't have it any other way for him to feel any ill will towards her. At least she knew how to have fun. Naruto respected that. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like it, and if you do, please leave a like and comment down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And this is Apollo Chiha and I am signing out.